on tonight's Driving Distilled podcast. We finally bond.
I'm just waiting for you to touch my feet under the table.
I deflate. We switch from English to gibberish.
Code.
Code!
And then from gibberish to emojis. And Mario has an epiphany.
I don't know. Maybe I don't like playing with the back end.
Share your thoughts and opinions. Write in at info@driving-distilled.com and we'll talk about them in the next episode. Welcome to Petrolhead Talk number 9, the number 1 podcast in Switzerland. Yes, I think that's fair to say, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't watch or listen to podcasts, so...
Yeah, but maybe it's also like saying you guys are the most handsome guy here in this room, right? So... You didn't enjoy that.
I don't like getting compliments about my look from men.
Needs to let it sit, I guess.
Well, I mean...
I'm just waiting for you to touch my feet under the table.
That's not me.
No. I have long legs, but it's not that long.
Yes, but even though this is a small podcast, maybe the only podcast in Switzerland, the only relevant podcast in Switzerland, we do have political gravity.
Do we?
We do. I mean, we talked about the CO2 bill last time,
Right.
and it was, well, not exactly smashed, but it made it barely, and I would like to think it was because of us.
No, it was because of the viewers. We did it all together.
That's true.
Yes, that.
All 5 of us.
Yes. Yes. Okay, we'll talk a bit later about that. So, yeah, my guests today are Mario and Manuel, better known as Swiss Car Guy, Swiss Car Guy on YouTube, and Map2K, respectively.
Right.
Welcome again.
Thank you.
Now, you know, a bit now of, I mean, for you, it's your 6th podcast with me,
Damn
by the
it.
way. Yeah, you know already, you know how it goes. For you, it's the 2nd one. That's how you get hooked on this, right? And so I'd like to ask you again to maybe share a bit about your last month.
Yes.
In car terms.
Okay. No, I thought that you wanted to know about my problems and my issues. No, in car terms,
Of course you want to know them.
I basically recently made a video contemplating replacing my Nissan GTR because I reckon it's too fast and I need a slower car. And so I've been actually looking at cars. I've been thinking about cars. I've been evaluating. I've been going back and forth. And I've even drove a few cars. And now I'm more confused than ever. So, yeah. What I thought originally was wrong.
So there was nothing you liked so far?
I really thought I would like a Mazda MX-5.
Okay.
Then I went to drive one, and I don't. I don't like that car.
Okay.
Because it doesn't have power. It's too little power. I mean, I thought I needed a car with less power, but that car, you have to drive it all the time at maximum. Every time accelerate, you shift 1,000 times until you get to 50. It's just not fast enough.
Which one was it? The 1.5 or the 2.0?
2.0.
Okay, that was too slow.
I did go for the 2.0 because I thought the 1.5, no.
Comparing 500 horsepower with, 160?
Yeah, I mean, people say go for the 1.5 because that one is the sweet spot because you have to push it all the time.
I don't like that.
That is very
I guess Mario is more looking for something that is like, it's well balanced. And the MX-5, it is well balanced as long as you're in a roundy road. But on the highway, I completely agree. It doesn't feel snappy.
Okay.
Put a compressor on it and then it would be interesting.
Yeah, I've been actually thinking about looking at the supercharged Toyota GT86.
Yeah.
The supercharged. Okay.
Also an interesting option.
Yeah, because not supercharged will not have enough power. I already know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else did you drive then?
No, that's it.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
That's it. I haven't driven a lot. But last week I bid on an auction and I almost bought an Aston Martin DBS. But only almost. I was second highest bidder.
Which one do you mean? The current one or
the one from Casino Royale?
Oh, but actually a manual?
Yes.
That is actually a really nice car. I mean, I have never driven one, but it is a manual. It is a V12 naturally aspirated.
I
engine.
thought it would tick a lot of boxes, but then again, price went a bit too high for me because
Okay.
it was at the City of Zurich public auction.
Oh,
And it was sight unseen, obviously, because auction. And it was low mileage, about 28,000 kilometers.
wow.
But you only have like 5 pictures of the car. And in one, you see a check engine light. You see that it has certainly problem with the brake pressure sensor or stuff like that, which is not big deal. But then again, the car went, in the end, it sold for 104,000 Swiss francs,
Okay.
which, if the car's all right,
Yeah, exactly.
is okay. But for a car I've never seen, I've never heard, I only know from pictures, it's too much of a risk.
Mhm.
So
Okay. So the prices in the small lads, are they a lot higher than that
yes,
one?
yes. I think the classifieds, the cheapest manual is like 130,000 Swiss francs.
Okay.
But you know, we already talked about it. Prices and classified ads and the price in the market is not the same thing.
Yeah. So I mean, what you could do is you go to one of those people and say, well, you know what? I give you 100 for it, or 105.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't really want an Aston Martin DBS. I would have bought that one if it was cheap enough. If it was under 100 grand, I would have bought it.
Okay.
Because that would have been worth the gamble. Because I say, even if the engine needed some work, if I had to spend another 10, 20 grand on it, it wouldn't be all lost. But, you know, at retail value, it's like, no.
Yeah, I mean, it's already an expensive car, and you would just go and
Yeah,
make
and
it more
the other
expensive.
thing is, I know myself, I would probably prefer the automatic more.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. We'll touch upon this a bit later on. Manuel, how did your past few weeks look like?
I became, how do you call that? A specialist on Swiss cheese.
Very interesting. It is
Very Swiss.
on topic.
Yeah,
Yes.
on the repo, of course.
Okay. I mean, I think I know what you mean. I saw your video, and honestly, from the first few pictures, it looked, this looks all right.
Right.
But then when you went closer, I was thinking, oh, this thing has
Yep.
really more holes than.
I mean, again, it's not unexpected. We knew that there is rust. It was a bit surprising that the thing underneath or above the firewall did not completely fall apart. That was to my surprise. I really thought that the thing is completely gone, but now with the paint and everything gone, it doesn't look as bad. I mean, you still need to replace the whole thing, obviously,
Mhm.
but I expected that part to be worse. The biggest surprise, obviously, was the roof. So we were concerned that, okay, sandblasting a cab, 45-year-old roof, I'm not sure if that can be savable. And yeah, the sandblasting guys, they told me like, hey, we basically just touched the roof and then we just saw the whole roof move.
Okay.
Okay. And they were actually not sure because I asked them to take care of the roof. And then they noticed that there was like 1 centimeter thick layer of putty on it. Because speculation, either the cab was rolled once, which I don't think, the damage would be bigger than that, or just something heavy smashed on the roof, pulled it in, and they basically drilled some holes in the front to pull it out again. So the roof we will need to do anyway.
Okay.
So that was the biggest surprise. But anything else, again, I am trying to get familiar on how you do these kind of repairs. That will be a process for a while, just for me to learn, to figure out how it goes. Because again, if it's just replacing a small area, you make a new sheet metal part and you weld it in, that's not a problem. But here we're talking about overlapping sheets, especially in the foot area. And there I'm honestly not sure how it's best to repair them. So I definitely want to speak and have a look with my colleague. He knows how to do these kind of things. He's a panel beater. So as soon as I get a chance to talk to him, he's in military service until this week. So then I guess I will continue, and it will then be a lot of working on metal.
Good luck with that. Good luck with
I'll
that.
need it.
Definitely looking forward to see the results of that one.
Same to me, yeah.
Okay. My past few weeks were a bit turbulent. So I did the GI Yaris, and to be honest, I did not like it as much as I thought I would like it. So the problem is, I think it was the tires, which is maybe becomes a bit of a surprise. But the car has quite a soft setup, right? I think that's something you would like. It is not harsh. It is not.
Did it have the circuit pack on it or not?
No.
Okay.
It didn't have any of. It had the premium pack, the one that comes with heads-up display. And
Yeah, because I realized, because I was also looking at the Yaris GR, you can either have the premium or the circuit pack, but not both.
Yes.
So either you want a head-up display or you want a torsion differential. So, okay.
Actually, I wasn't able to overwhelm the tires or the grip basically without the differential. So the car already has lots of grip, and it was on those Michelins that I really like. But for me, that is a bit of a they are not working together very well. So you have a car that is softly set up, and then you have these very grippy tires. I think on that car it would be better if you have less grips and you can play a bit with the car. And the other thing is, I barely fit in it. I am really not that tall. But yeah, I was sitting so far up, it was really weird.
But I think the seating position is normal because it's basically a city car. So you're going to sit high.
Very high, really seriously.
But did you not
high.
have enough headroom, or was it just a weird seating position?
I mean, the seating position was off. It was definitely too high, but also headroom was missing. So, for example, I go drifting every now and then, and I would not be able to fit in there with
The
a helmet.
yeah.
I mean, that is maybe not a huge problem for most people, but I was just thinking it was a bit of it did not work really well for me.
But I think that's a general problem with nowadays cars. I mean, we mentioned it when we were looking at my Focus last time, that before the one I got, which has already a lower seating position, it's still high, but it is already lower than the first series of the MK3 RS. And also there, you kind of feel in the beginning like you're more like in a truck, almost a steering wheel, you're looking at it from the top. And I just noticed that with all newer cars, or most of the newer cars, they have exactly the same problem.
Funny enough, the new Focus doesn't have it. The new Focus has a wonderfully low seating position.
All right.
So how about the Focus ST then?
The STD?
I mean, the petrol one, not necessarily.
No, but honestly, I've been thinking that probably a hot hatch might be a better car for me.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, I would suggest the Civic Type R as the hatchback to go for, even though it looks a bit weird. It's just the Civic. I think the Civic works with the grip because it is a precision tool. The Civic, it is not playful like the M2, for example, or the GR Yaris. So that one works with those grippy tires, and you really always drive it like a race car. The GR Yaris and the M2, they work with less grip as well. I mean, because you can play with the back a bit. Just a few suggestions.
Sure.
Yeah, and then I turned around 180 degrees, and I got myself 2 electric cars. So one was the Kia e-Niro.
Was it manual?
No. Which I surprisingly liked.
What?
Yeah, I mean, because it looks like a regular car. I mean, you sit inside, and it's just a normal car, just that happens to have an electric motor. Whereas the ID3 looks a bit weirder, and is somehow, the car is not very long. It is 4 meters 30, but it looks massive. It looks huge somehow. Yeah, I mean, driving an electric car around was okay. I didn't feel like, oh, now I want to thrash it. I want to experience the torque. None of that. It was okay until I had to go to charge them for the first time, which, yeah, that's where the fun ended. And I was happy to go back into the Civic Type R.
Did you feel a big difference between the cars?
Well, a big difference. There were some small differences. So the Kia was, for example, a bit more relaxed, a bit softer to drive. The ID3 was a bit harder. It had a harsher ride, which is no wonder. It came on 20-inch wheels. The ID3 has bigger wheels than the M2.
All right.
Which, I mean, I was to expect, and that the ride.
But it was an option, right?
Yeah, it's an option. It was the first edition, which comes with lots of stuff. But one thing that really does not work for me is the price for both cars. So the Kia, it was full spec. It's 50,000 Swiss francs.
Phew.
The ID3 full spec again was 53,000 Swiss francs, which is a lot of money. Because when I hear something that goes above 50, I say go for a Civic Type R. Or any other hatchback for that matter. So really, the pricing does not work at all.
I mean, but these are not really, hot hatches in that sense. These are basically like mid to small size family cars.
Yeah.
And to spend 50 grand on sort of a smallish family car is like, what would a comparable petrol-powered car cost you? And the difference, will you ever make it up in fuel savings?
Well, I won't because I don't drive that much, so I would never make that up. And it's also this satisfaction, right? This stuff.
But you would be green.
Oh yeah, I am green enough.
You are green today.
But that's why the ID is the better car than the Nero. Because with the ID, everybody sees that you're driving an electric car.
Mm.
With the Nero, maybe if they know the details, otherwise it could be the petrol-powered version. So
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah, I mean, it was fun to drive them for a week or a few days. And yeah, I think I'll be happy to go back to petrol for now.
For now.
Yeah.
as long as you can.
As long as I can, yes. Yes, I mean, I was so flustered. I needed to go brim the tank of the Civic and just go have a drive to recalibrate my body.
So you were creating unnecessary CO2 emissions.
Yes, and it felt great. Okay, now, I mean, we can stay a bit on topic. So, I was thinking, so what car could we get for Mario? What could we suggest? What would you like? And of course, this is also where the community comes in. So, yeah, maybe spend a few minutes thinking about what would Mario like. It has to be fun at reasonable speeds, but also not super hard. So it cannot be a Caterham, I think.
Yes, it needs to be comfortable. It needs to be daily drivable. That's important. Of course, enough power. I wouldn't mind if it's spacious. It doesn't have to, accommodate a family, but I don't want to feel like I'm trapped in a hole, like in a Supra, for example. Yeah, that's it. Basically, I already know the perfect car for me.
Okay.
And since Stout is going to get it for me, I like it very much. It's a Rolls-Royce Dawn.
Dawn, okay. Why? Why would you want a Dawn?
Because it's awesome.
Really? I think a Phantom looks much nicer.
Nah, it's a limousine. Limousines are never good. The Dawn is the convertible. It's the most expensive model in the range. They know why it is like that.
Okay. Then, then actually my bad, don't bother at all because we found the dream car. But something for second place, maybe?
An option, yeah, that would be good.
I think that the upcoming GR86 might be something.
But doesn't it also just have like 220 horsepower or something like that?
It has 240 horsepower, I think.
2.5 liters.
2.4, I think, isn't it?
It's 2.4, yes.
Okay.
The thing is, I think when the torque is so up high, like the old Civics, for example, where you wouldn't have power until 6,000 RPM, or the GT86, as you said, the new one, the GR86, will have its peak torque starting from 3,000 RPM, and that makes a difference. I mean, even though it doesn't have more horsepower, it makes a difference when you drive it. So you have this lower down torque, and maybe it's enough to play with the back end a bit.
I don't know. Maybe I don't like playing with the back end. Yeah, because look, I'm very used to four-wheel drive cars.
Okay.
And I actually, to me, when the back end comes out, usually it's a sign that something's going wrong.
I mean, I'm not saying you should go sideways every single corner.
What?
But I feel, look, it's a bad incentive. Because when I buy a car to go sideways, then I kind of want to go sideways all the time. It's like the reason I don't really like convertibles anymore that much, because you always feel like pressure to open the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, what do I have a convertible for if I never open the roof? And it's the same thing. Why do I have a rear-wheel drive car if I never drive sideways? So
what you're saying is that you don't want your car to tell you how to drive it.
Yeah, or basically I want a front-wheel drive car.
Again,
I mean, if we go very extreme, he basically wants a more powerful Fiat Multipla. It's spacious, it has power, it's front-wheel drive.
Hey, and the Multipla handles really well because it's really wide and short. So
we'll need to get one, right? As soon as we do our cheap car stuff, we should think.
We know what Mario will
get.
Yeah.
I think the Multipla would be an interesting platform to do some mid-engine conversion.
Mid-engine Fiat Multipla. Yeah, why
but
not?
Keep the front-wheel drive.
Well, that is certainly a project.
So it would be an
engine car
RF car.
Yeah, you know what's the problem with Multipla?
MF.
I'm listening.
It never came with an automatic.
Okay.
That's easily fixable.
Actually, now I had an idea. You know, Opels, I'm sure you're a big fan of those.
Yes, I love it. It's my favorite car brand.
They're comfortable.
Now they don't anymore, but a few years back, maybe a few decades even, the Zafira, do you remember that one?
Yes.
They did a hot version of that one. So there always was a Zafira
The
OPC.
OPC,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think ticks all your boxes, doesn't it? It's turbocharged, so it does have a bit of torque. It is front wheel drive, lots of space.
Oh.
Yeah, the only thing that doesn't work for me with that car is that it's a freaking Opel.
So
Which
let's
is a
get a
brand-
Vauxhall then.
Brand I personally do not really like that much. And also, at least the older models, they were prone to rusting quite bad.
Oh.
That's Opel. Yes. So let's get a Vauxhall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
they're
sure that solves your
they
problem.
have the steering wheel on the wrong side.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, maybe you've had better ideas.
Yeah.
Have I bought a new car? No, so I haven't had better ideas. So.
No, I mean those people who are watching.
Yes,
obviously-
you.
Yes, exactly.
We should be
you.
able to name them by now.
Yes. Introduce yourself and what qualifies you to give tips.
Yeah, and more importantly, make a comment. So in the next podcast, you will be named.
Yep.
Because I reckon there won't be hundreds of comments. So.
Yes, then we will say Larry suggested to get
Oh, and please,
an Oldsmobile Cutlass.
if you have to make a comment to get named, make sure your username is as daft as possible. Something like "doubt is an idiot" or something like that.
Yes, I will not. Maybe I should not make this promise. I might maybe leave it and not censorize it if it's something that is beepable.
Yeah, you mean like all the stuff you cut from the podcast?
Like what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No. I mean, this is an open society here until a certain degree. Okay. Now, shall we talk about how we single-handedly saved Switzerland from going into even more petrol rage? When we voted, when we smashed the CO2 bill. By
No.
this bit. You don't want to talk about that? How about you?
I mean, what else should we say? We know it's a no, so they will just change the rules and implement it anyways. So
Well, I was just thinking that, in a few weeks they will just try again.
no, don't think they will try again. They will just apply the rules in a different way.
I think they will have to make an attempt in some way, because without this interesting law, Switzerland might not reach its CO2 emission goals, and therefore they have to do something about it. But
Exactly.
to be honest, for now, it's crisis averted, and then let's watch how things develop.
Yes. If necessary, we will save Switzerland again, right? From itself.
We can always mention it again, and then job done.
Exactly. So I think this puts a target on our backs because we have huge influence over the motoring community in Switzerland, and people might want to get rid of us.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Well,
green activists.
You now drive electric cars, so you might be safe.
And
Yes.
you're wearing a green shirt, so
That's right.
basically you're
You're
assimilated.
blending in.
Exactly. I've already started my undercover work. Okay. As you know, I like to watch Top Gear every now and then and rewatch old episodes. And I was thinking, I'm sure you know the episodes where they did the Cool Wall, right? The setup was like this. So Kristen Scott Thomas, I actually cannot recall a movie she was in, but she was Jeremy's Cool Wall muse. And then the setup was that if you turned up with that car at her place, and if she liked it, it's a cool car. If she didn't like it, it's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, the Multipla was a very cool car because it looked a bit strange, right? Or for example, every BMW was uncool, even though they are great cars. Or they used to be great cars. They
But
are
still uncool, yes.
because they would at that time. Jeremy was claiming they were exclusively driven by cogs.
And they still are.
Yeah.
Well, the Top Gear's premise was that they had moved on to Audi. In the meantime,
No.
I think they just spread the virus.
Yeah.
it's just also driving Audis and
Yeah,
also driving Mercedes.
Exactly.
Cogs are everywhere, so
Yeah. Have you read? I think it was in the newspaper the last couple of days that the most, how was the headline going? Like the most unliked car driver brand is BMW in Switzerland or something along those lines.
Interesting.
Well,
So
I'm
it's not
also-
just me.
I'm not that surprised. But my question was, do we have a cool wall muse, or what would be in Switzerland an acceptable cool wall muse? I had one idea, and for example, a politician. I'm not going to say an old politician, but a politician who is not in office
Retired.
anymore. Yes, it was Micheline Calmirin.
Mm-hmm.
I think she would work as a cool wall muse.
Are you insane?
Why?
That woman with a haircut that looks like she put a cut on top of their hair and then cut it. So no.
Yeah, but she was sort of cool, wasn't she?
No.
No?
Wasn't she the one who wore the what did she wear when she went to some Arab country where she
She was wearing a scarf, yeah.
yeah, I think that's not cool.
Isn't it? I think she killed it. Okay, so what would
Look,
you
everybody has their own preferences, and yours obviously are very weird. But
I was just thinking she is sort of cool. Okay, what would you suggest? Who would you suggest?
Switzerland.
In Switzerland, yes. I think she has to be Swiss.
Yeah, the problem with Switzerland is that most women that are somewhere like, let's say, famous, because I don't know how famous you can really get in Switzerland, but who are known or something, they tend to be sort of, left-leaning at least. So environmentalism and all these boring things. And so these are women you will never impress with any car unless it's not a car.
It's an electric car.
So, to judge the coolness of a car, it's like, they might not be the best.
That is a valid
that.
point. That is a valid point.
Mm.
Although I would suggest Micheline Calmirin, she's of the old guard, so maybe she's not as
Yeah, but if you want to...
as much of a tree hugger.
If you want to take somebody from the older guard who's also Swiss, then take Ursula Andress, for example.
I knew you were going to say. I really knew you. Yeah, well, what does she? I mean, is she still alive?
I think so.
I'm not into politicians. I wouldn't know.
I mean, Ursula Andress is the Bond girl, the first Bond girl. Yeah,
Honey Ryder.
yeah. Is she cool though? Okay, she's the first Bond girl. That is sort of cool.
Well, I don't know. Bond girls are still... There have been many, but she's like a very famous Swiss person.
Mm-hmm.
That's already sort of cool. An actress. Okay, most of the movies she made, not that great. But, hey, she was in James Bond.
Yes.
That's an achievement.
Can you think of somebody?
I'm not sure if she's Swiss, but she would be someone younger. Cindy Aleman.
A racing driver.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem there is if you turn up with a cool car at her place, even if she likes it, you will in the back of your head, you will always know she can drive it faster than I can.
So what?
Yeah, and also she's a bad judge of character for coolness. Because she can drive cars fast, she knows cars. So it's not like you show up with a car and she knows nothing about it and thinks, that's a cool car. No, she's going to, wow, why didn't you pick the larger engine? And why did you come to this? Oh, and it's an automatic and not the manual. What's wrong with you?
Exactly. You
Like,
pull up in an R8 4.2 at her house. It's just, why didn't you get the V10? What's wrong with that?
That's
I would not drive up with
That's
an
like
R8.
trying to impress a car guy. That still doesn't make a car cool. It makes it cool for nerds like us, but for normal people, it's like, no.
And for all the people, that's going to be a task that is impossible.
But
It's
why
mission
does
impossible.
Does it have to be a Swiss person?
I mean, let's extend it. Okay, let's extend it. Who would you
The
suggest?
Pope.
The Pope.
Okay.
So you pull up with a Lamborghini or a
I
Ferrari?
think he has one already.
I'm not sure. Was it Lamborghini or Ferrari that I think gave... I'm not sure
I
which
think
Pope it was.
every car manufacturer has given the Pope some cars,
Okay.
but I think traditionally the Vatican really likes white Mercedes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's supposed to be nice, right? So I don't think he will say, oh, that is a terrible car, no matter what you pull up in.
I don't know if he's supposed to be nice, Because as far as I understand, he's basically sort of a dictator of the Vatican. Or do they... I mean, he gets elected, but once he's elected, it's for life. So and he's infallible, so...
Or he's just a puppet like any other person sitting on top alone.
That is going very deep here. now that puts targets on our backs.
Of course.
Hey, the Swiss Guards.
Yeah.
They're probably here right now.
Yeah, surrounding. Exactly. No, I mean, okay, the Pope is an interesting proposition, but I'm trying to think who else is there who would be really cool. Judi Dench but she's British. That's
no,
a
I
bit
fucking
boring.
hate her.
Why?
I fucking hate her because she made all the last few James Bond films terrible. Because she was introduced as M in the mid-90s when, the more modern James Bond came in and he has a woman for his boss, which was fine enough. Then she won an Oscar for The Queen or whatever other movie she did.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had to artificially increase her part in all the Bond movies because it couldn't just be 2-minute scenes with her because now she is an Oscar winner. So then they tried to sneak her into the story and it made the movies even worse than they already were. So no.
We hate her. Okay.
Yes.
How about...
If you want to have an older British woman, you know who I like? Helen Mirren.
Hell, that was going to be my next.
I think she's the perfect woman to impress because she's not that into cars, but still very classy and still a really cool older lady.
I agree. She's cool. Yeah, she's cool. But it sort of bugs me a bit that we wound up in Britain again.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult because, but if you think of celebrities or actresses and stuff like that, you either land in Great Britain or in America. Unless you watch a lot of Bollywood movies or something like that.
I don't. Okay.
Maybe a singer, but even then, usually English-speaking people.
Yeah, that is true. It was a stupid idea to bring up anyway.
Yes.
I can go with some Japanese actress.
Do you know somebody? I don't know anybody from Japan.
Not by name.
I know that guy who they used to play the part in a video game which is called Onimusha, right? Alongside Jean Reno. That's the only, but I don't know what's his name, and I'm not sure if he's particularly cool.
And that's the only Japanese actor you know.
Yes.
You have never heard of like Takeshi Kitano or something like that.
Oh yeah, that is true.
But that's not girls.
Oh wait, actually that was I think Takeshi Kitano, wasn't
really?
it?
Okay.
I think that.
So it's the only Japanese actor.
No. Wait. What's the name of that guy who played in Last Samurai? Who played in the other film than Flags of Our Fathers? What was it?
These are all movies I haven't watched, so I can't tell you.
I'm bad
The
with
guy.
names.
Wait. The guy in the Japanese guy in Inception. You don't remember him?
Google?
Doesn't matter. Do you want to impress a guy with your car?
No, I was just saying. I mean, you were accusing me of not knowing any Japanese actors, and I told you it's not only one. I know two.
But you don't know his name.
I don't.
And you don't know if it's the same guy.
Actually, I know a third. The guy who played in Rush Hour 3. He's quite famous.
No, I thought you were coming with Toshiro Mifune or something like that.
It would be Ken Watanabe
Ken Watanabe.
in Inception.
Yes, he's a cool guy. But yes, again, a guy. Well, yeah, it's a guy. Let's move on. This conversation never happened.
You will edit it out.
Exactly, we'll all edit it out as usual.
Of course.
Now, you were bringing up Ferrari quite a few times in the last podcast. You were thinking, or you were playing with the idea of owning a Ferrari. I am pretty sure you have heard or read about the new, what was it, the 269?
296.
296.
GTB.
Mm-hmm.
Dino.
No. Dino?
Dino?
No.
I think they were calling it Dino.
Really?
The new one?
Well, what they have done is they have released a new V6, mid-engined V6 Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
But that is not, I mean, they say it is not supposed to replace the not outgoing F8.
That came out last year, yeah?
Exactly. But is 100 horsepower more powerful than the V8 that is not being replaced. Yeah, and I was trying to pick your brain. What do you think about that car?
I think it's the same thing we already talked about last time. There's too many models. There's just too many models.
Even more now.
Yeah, because apparently there is still the LaFerrari on top. Then there's the SF90 Stradale. Then there is now this 296 GTB. And of course, there will be GTS later on.
Mm.
Then there's the F8. Then there's the Roma. And then there's the Portofino.
You can probably still order the FXX and FXXK as well, right?
I think with enough money, you can probably do everything.
Yeah.
The problem I have with this car is not only that it exists, but I read a bit of comments about it, and many people really like the styling. I think it's a bit anonymous.
That was actually one of the points I wanted to talk to you guys about, because my opinion is that the moment the Pininfarina was not part of Ferrari's design anymore, I think they went a bit generic.
With this car specifically, okay, you see in the back here, this is very 250 LM, okay, but the front is super generic. The front it has the same problem as the Aston Martin Vantage. It's like some car. And even if you look at the side profile, yes, 250 LM and everything, but if they didn't have Ferrari badges, if it had McLaren badges, you go like, yeah, sure.
Absolutely. You know what I'm not sure if you feel the same about it. When I look at this side profile, I feel like it was a different team that designed the front and another team who designed the back, because I feel like they got sort of a model and they scaled it at 95% maybe, and those at the back at 105. Somehow I feel the back is a bit bigger than the front.
It has the same proportions, the same wrong proportions as an Audi R8. It's exactly that. It's too short at the front and too long at the rear.
Weren't you saying the last time that you hate it when the bonnet is kilometers long?
Yes, but I also hate it when it's disproportionately short.
I don't know, when I look at it, it just feels like this part is bigger than this part.
I mean, it is. If you look at behind
the middle of the car is about here. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is, the other thing is that, yes, it has 830. It does 830 horsepower. I mean, what are you going to do with 830 horsepower? But the thing is, I mean, how... well, there are people probably who think that I'm sure this thing will sell, probably. But I'm just thinking in my head, you think I want to buy a Ferrari, and the Ferrari that I want has 6 cylinders in the middle.
I guess nowadays people are not so obsessed anymore about does it have 8, 6, 12 or how many cylinders ever. I think they're more like, oh, it's a nice car. I can use it in my Instagram. I need it.
I think it's... this is also... I'm not sure if we talked with you about it in the last podcast. It was... I have the feeling that Ferrari is turning into this occult group of, I don't know, of car makers. And yeah, they are making exclusive cars for people who know nothing about cars or who are not really interested in cars. I think this is, as you said, I think this is a car for the Instagram generation. It wouldn't matter if it was electric.
True.
It's just it just has this yellow badge on it, and
I don't know. I think they are still very serious about the car. Especially if you look at those pictures, you will realize that the car is on Michelin's and not on the stupid Pirellis that they usually have as standard. So they mean business. And yeah, I mean, these are proper tires. We know it. It's the best tires in the business. But I don't know. I mean, they have a new CEO now. Mm-hmm. Maybe that guy will turn things around. But I mean, he came from ST Micro, a microchip producer. So I don't know. I hope he's kind of a car guy. But it shows that nowadays buyers of Ferraris, they don't really care if it's 6 cylinders, if it's 15 cylinders or whatever. I mean, the other argument is, well, in Formula One, they also only have V6s and they're hybrids. So this is basically a Formula One car for the road. And I think you can still say, well, at least it has an engine and it's not all electric. So it's better than nothing. And I'm sure it's very fast. It's probably be really good. But this is something where we are at the point, 800 horsepower. Like, I'd be fine with a 600 horsepower car or whatever. I don't need that electric stuff and the weight. Just take it out. Do the V6 without the other stuff. But they couldn't do that because
Emissions.
Maserati's already doing
yes.
that. So Maserati's probably doing the proper Ferrari Dino. A lightweight, small car with a V6 engine.
So this or the Ferrari then? Because honestly, I feel like the Maserati also looks a bit generic, but
It
Looks very similar.
But looking at the Ferrari, I think this one is the prettier car.
It's certainly, I think it's
At
more
least from the front.
it's more harmonious in everything. It looks like it's been done by the same person. I think obviously it has very busy wheels that don't help. If it had like some straight spoke wheels, something much more simple, it would probably look a bit better. But I think even the MC20 will be a hybrid, won't it?
No, the MC20 will either be petrol only or electric only, at least so far.
Okay, good. Then at least you know there's one version you want and
one you have to avoid.
No, because this car is interesting because for me it came a bit out of nowhere. Even though for years there had been rumors about an Alfa 6C.
Yes.
And then, okay. Yeah, because Alfa Romeo is a basket case. Nobody's going to save that company. But yes, I think it looks okay. It's not earth-shattering in design terms.
That gorgeous.
But it looks all right. And you still see a Maserati family feeling. So it clearly is a Maserati. Even the stupid backlights that don't look very good, but they are like very consistent with also
especially at the front with the grille. This is for me really the MC12 analogy here. I think it works.
I think I saw a video
of this one works for me.
Of Frank Stevenson discussing the MC20, and he designed the MC12 back then. And I think he wasn't too. He has a pretty nice YouTube channel.
I mean, I've seen his take on the Artura, actually, which has a similar problem, I think, to what we are talking here. The McLaren Artura.
Oh, I think McLaren have many problems.
Yeah, which is, again, another generic McLaren.
Yep.
And especially, I think it is hideous at the back.
I don't know. Maybe it's also the angle that's bad because it looks like the back is really high up.
But it is. I mean, look from the other side.
Oh, yeah. It's about the height of your head when you're driving.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. So you were saying Frank Stevenson, he was not too rude about the MC20.
I think he thought some solutions were maybe not great, but in general, I think he liked it because, of course, it heavily references a car he designed.
Yeah, I mean, he was not very mean. It wasn't very rude about the Artura either, and yet, I mean, I like the bigger intakes, for example, and stuff, but it's just small details that I really like. As a whole, I feel like. In general, maybe new cars look like pebbles. I mean, they look the same.
I just think McLaren, which this is probably their 50th model that they brought out. I mean, if you do 3 models in 10 years, it's easier to design a distinctive car than if you do 3 models in 3 months. And every 3 months there's a new model. And then, I mean, you're not going to design a completely new car. You're always going to take what you have and modify it a bit. Yeah. And if they just did 1 model and then 5 or 6 years later we do the new model, then you can do greater changes. And there is an inflation of supercars. And this is also something, okay, I realize in China there's many billionaires and rich people, and economy is going well, even though we had a pandemic and everything. But sometimes this stuff has to stop. And then I think McLaren is one of the most vulnerable because Ferrari is still going to be Ferrari. But McLaren, they're already struggling as it is. So I don't know.
They are producing cars like mad. Then they cannot sell them. And then you can get a brand new car for half the price. I mean, for half of list price. And then on top of that, you have all these troubles when you look at YouTube channels and YouTube videos, how it is to own a McLaren. You have that as well. So I'm really not sure how long this will go well for them.
Maybe somebody takes them over.
Who knows?
That makes sense. might make sense. Yeah, I mean, maybe you have a bit different opinion there. Yes, exactly. But I am not overly impressed with this new breed of supercars. I mean, I really expect at least double the number of cylinders they come up with.
Yeah, but they have electric motors. No need for cylinders anymore.
Well, I drove electric cars, and at no point did I think, oh, you know what? I want to go to Nordschleife and smash a lap record with it.
Yeah, but you didn't really drive a sporty electric car.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I mean, the Kia had a sport mode.
But maybe we should talk again once you've driven a Rimac or something like that.
Well, the chances of that happening.
Yeah, and also driving Rimacs in Switzerland, dangerous.
Yeah, ask Richard Hammond. Yeah, again, I would put my money in an F12, which is, I think, a proper Ferrari, front-engined V12, designed by Pininfarina.
Never really liked the looks of the F12, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
I think the F12 is. It's. I mean, even though the A12 came shortly after, I think it never became out of date. The F12, it still looks.
Yeah, because it's not that old.
As modern as the A12, I think. It looks better than the A12.
I don't know. I prefer the A12, to be honest.
Okay.
But then again, I actually prefer the 599 to the F12.
That one is bigger. That one is bigger.
So
and
what?
not as handsome. Well,
Mario likes comfortable cars. You know that by now.
Well, that is true.
The F12 is. I don't reckon it's less comfortable than a 599.
How about the Scaglietti? Now that we're talking about it,
no.
On the basis that it's not a very handsome Ferrari. But.
Yeah, the problem is I really like the back of that car. I think the back is spot on. The front is a bit I think it was designed by Ken Okiyama.
And the point being that no Ken is cool.
Yeah, there was a Top Gear car. But you know, Ken Okiyama now does his own cars. Have you ever seen it? They're called Koda. Koda car.
Heard that somewhere.
Koda cars.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm a bit worried what will show up.
Oh, it's called Koda. I don't know what car. Was it right? Ken or something like that.
Ken. Gilroy.
Koda cars. Ken. Skoda. No,
They're
not
called
right.
Koda. Yeah, because you have to do Koda in parentheses. Otherwise, it thinks it's Skoda that you're
In
searching
parentheses
for.
or?
Yeah. No.
No,
Maybe I just dreamed it, but I remember, I think, seeing him on Jay Leno with two of his models.
Okay. What's his name? Ken?
Ken Okiyama, I think.
Okuyama, like this one. Design. Let's see.
Kode.
Ah, Kode, maybe, right.
Kode 9.
Like this one.
Yep.
Yeah, but this is not
It's
very
an Alpha
pretty.
6C, isn't it?
Enzo design. Oh, he also did the Enzo.
Yes.
Is that true? Okay.
Yeah, he was, I think, head of design at Ferrari during that time.
Okay.
Pininfarina, sorry. Pininfarina.
That looks a bit like a Tesla Hypertruck in a flat version.
I think this one looks a bit like the Disco Volante. You remember that one?
Honestly, I think this one looks like a Chinese copy of like a 50s
Of a
Ferrari
Disco
or
Volante.
something like that.
Or a Jaguar, an old one.
Okay. I mean, maybe now that we are completely off talking, how about what was it? Generali.
Generator.
Generali.
Not exactly.
Insurance.
Yeah.
I've
Florist.
never heard of that.
Okay.
Generali. Okay, close.
Gianarelli.
I was close.
But with J.
Yes.
What they're doing are they kit cars or are they
No,
new cars?
they are properly designed. Well, actually, it is. I think this is a bit of a weird setup because there is a long bonnet, so you would expect a front engine design, a front engine layout, but it is actually mid engined. But I think it looks
Very
nice.
odd.
I think it looks nice.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not so sure. It's
Not very convinced.
no.
I mean, it's a bit.
I see so many different cars in that somehow.
Yeah, that's true. Even though I have to say this part is kind of cool.
That's true. Yeah, the side definitely.
It will totally be a nightmare because all the stuff that flings up and stuff and so. But
Yeah, and the Swiss MFK will complain.
Well, I'm not sure if it is road legal in Switzerland, but yeah, I think it was a nice effort.
Where are they from?
Well, he's what is he? French or Italian? And I think he's French, but the company is registered in Dubai,
Okay.
So some,
if I'm not mistaken.
again, like Lycan Motors, like
Mhm.
Prototypes only. Apparently, people have taken delivery of their cars. Some people already.
Okay.
But here we are like in special one-off cars and
Yeah.
stuff like that. You know, like hand-built cars. Like this is almost like Glickenhaus or something like that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I think they are they have, or soon they will show their road car, which is, I think, a small displacement V8 with a manual gearbox and stuff. But yeah, it's
It will
stuff of
certainly be
dreams.
very affordable.
Exactly. So yeah, not that. Cool.
Yeah. Nice talking about cars we not only will probably never be able to afford, but most likely we will never even see anywhere.
Well, I think the Gianarelli is not totally out of this world in terms of pricing, but yeah, still, I mean, even if you order one, I'm not sure when you will get it.
Maybe we'll see one in Geneva at some point.
Well, Geneva, I'm not sure this will ever happen again, will it?
I don't know.
Apparently they're in preparations for next year.
Oh, okay. And then we'll go there and look at electric cars.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not that much of a fan of motor shows anyway, because yeah, you can go there, you can look at cars.
Well, you can see a glimpse of a car in between crowds of people. I personally don't like it either. I always enjoy the press days, though. Those are
Yes.
super nice.
The press days are nice, but unless you're pressed, you can't go to the press days. And the other thing is, on the normal days, many cars, and I'm not talking about the Ferraris and stuff like that, even the Fords and stuff, they are locked. You
Yes.
cannot even open up and get in. So I got more involvement when I go to my local car dealer than going to Geneva.
Mm.
True.
Well, for me, it was the first time when I went there, it was the sensation of going there.
Obviously.
And then it was a bit weird because, I mean, yeah, you go there and look at cars. And the thing is, we are looking at cars already. I'm not sure, but when you say it's locked and you cannot even take a glimpse at the engine or the cabin or anything, then I'm not sure what else is left here, except, being in a hot hall with other people with other sweaty people. Yeah. So maybe, I'm going to be honest with you, I will not be very sad if Geneva is gone as an auto show, but
I generally think that trade shows are something of the past. I remember even when I used to still work in consumer electronics, we also had these shows and everything. It was a huge pain to set them up and everything. And in the end, it's like, man, if people want to inform themselves nowadays, they go onto the internet. You don't have to show them in person. It's just good to meet with people. That's it.
yeah.
Maybe you can do it in a different environment. You don't have to spend millions and millions and millions for nothing, basically.
Yeah, I mean, imagine a few decades back when you didn't have the internet and
Of course.
there were many car shows, maybe car magazines were the only thing to see a car like that. So you would go to Geneva and see a Ferrari or Lamborghini in the flesh,
Mhm.
right? That was it. Maybe today, I'm not sure that's how attractive.
I mean, we're also a bit spoiled here in Switzerland because you see literally all cars on the road. If you just go to Zurich and you sit at the Bellevue, you see pretty much any car driving by during a day.
Yeah, you don't even have to be in Zurich. In Switzerland, basically anywhere. If it's like near a lake or something like that, on a Sunday, you will see the entire history of the automobile. And usually not the Model Ts and crap like that, but you have Bugattis and stuff like that driving by, wherever you are.
Speaking of Bugatti, I saw Chiron on the road for the first time yesterday, which is, I mean, it's not a huge one because the dealership is just over here. And it's just that the first time that I saw it out of the showroom and he was just driving along, and I was thinking, yeah, it's fun. Having 1,500 horsepower in a zone where you can drive 50 must be super exciting. And even if you go on the motorway, you can drive 120, which I can make with my Turan as well.
Can you even do it in an electric car, doubt?
Yes. Actually, that is not very satisfying because when you drive on the road, you just see the range, the range display just drop off a bit, right? the moment you go on a motorway and you drive 120, it just goes, and you get the sweat. Now I know why all Tesla drivers are driving so slowly on the motorway.
Yeah, because on a Tesla, the navigation system will tell you how fast you can drive to reach your next supercharger.
Oh, smart.
Smart, yeah.
So they optimize your road. That means if you drive faster, you have to stop more often. And then it takes you longer.
That's what I want usually when I commute. I want to have a real think about my strategy today. How is going to? Will I have a fewer pit stops more or?
The car is doing this for you without in a Tesla.
To be honest, it's only an issue if you drive like longer distances. Otherwise, I think an electric car is perfect for commuting. If it's just, oh my God, I do my 20 kilometers one way to go to work, it's fine.
Yeah. But it's the point, right? If you can charge at home, no issue at all.
If you can't charge at home, forget it. Don't get an electric car.
Yes, solid advice. And I think on that solid advice, we can end here. If you'd like to add something on top of it before we wrap this up.
Yes. This wasn't a very topical podcast.
True. It's a different style.
Yes, I mean, last time was very ranty, very political, and I thought we need to bring it back to cars a bit. So this one was a really flowery, really pleasant
Go back
podcast.
at green again.
But I don't know if it was that positive. Because we didn't rant so much, but did we say anything nice during this podcast?
Well, we said we don't like current Ferraris or any other supercar. We hate electric cars.
No, you love them. We
I do
came to that conclusion.
Yes, exactly. I have seen the light. I have come around. But let's say it was a bit less hostile, a bit less rude than usual.
I don't know if this is the bar you really want to set.
I mean, it was maybe not positive, but it was a bit more positive than last time.
I mean, let's see what the YouTube comments will tell us if they enjoyed it or not.
Yes, maybe this time we will be literally inundated with one comment or two.
Who knows?
Yeah, we will talk about them next time.
Exactly.
So yeah, feel free to leave a comment. Tell us that we're idiots and we have wasted 1 hour of your life, or how you enjoyed that, or how we have made your ride home more pleasant.
Yes, and also I want to point out, I work in customer insights. So it's very important to know what the customers mean. And in this case, you are the customers, viewers. So if this is a shit podcast, please comment and tell us that this is a shit podcast, and tell us what you didn't like, or tell us whether we should never go on camera again or something like that, because this is valuable feedback. Because I think we are all open for criticism. We're willing to improve. And even though we enjoy doing this podcast very much, I don't think we just do it for ourselves. So if you can get a bit more enjoyment out of it, then we will enjoy that as well.
And the stats on Spotify suggest people enjoy this podcast because the listeners have skyrocketed. Anchor says I have an audience of 5 people.
That's not bad.
You see?
That's not bad.
So speaking of which, it is even on Apple Podcasts, I found out.
Is it?
Yeah, they upload it to Apple Podcasts, but they sort of do not advertise that fact. But it is on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and all the other relevant podcast places.
All right.
So have a listen, and tell us what you think about it. If you have questions, if you seek advice, apparently I can help you with your car problems. If you need a car, I can help you.
Don't forget to make suggestions for Mario as well.
Exactly, and make suggestions for Mario. Look how miserable he looks. He needs a car.
Again, don't suggest an MX-5. I've driven it. No.
He was not impressed.
Maybe you could LS swap an MX-5 for Mario.
Well, difficult in Switzerland because, as we found out, Switzerland hates cars hates cars full stop, and not to talk about LS swapped MX-5s. So yes, drop your suggestions. Let us know. And thank you very much for listening. Thank you to you guys as well. And see you in a few weeks again. Bye, guys.
Thanks a lot. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Ja.